The team there is, of course, tracking what's happening. You know the hashtag, it's TCS IT WIZ. So just get started with your tweeting, and I would believe when you tweet your opinion. I mean, you're like a reporter sitting here, so you're like a tweeporter, if I should call you that. That's the modern world of quizzing or modern world of reporting. So if you can tell people who are watching the event what is happening, you could do that. Of course, the more you do, the more chances you stand to win that prize. For now, the answers to the preliminary question. These were the ones that I asked you. I showed you a visual and I asked you what it was from the world of Google, and the answer was Google Drive. The first logo that we showed you was Google Drive. The second question that I asked you was from the world of Nordic runes. A king's initials were written differently. The king himself got his nickname because of his love for berries and the stained teeth that he got because of that. And that led to the creation of a name for a technology. The answer, Bluetooth. Sometimes when you just stop and think, the answers are simple. We don't think these days, you know. It either comes to your mind or it doesn't, and then you don't want to think about it. So Bluetooth, the answer. And then came BYOD, which is today very popular at conferences and so on. It's bring your own device. Well, there was one team which wrote bring your own desktop. How would you carry your own desktop to a place? I mean, that was a slightly impractical answer. It is device, that was the right answer. Then came Justin Timberlake, myspace.com. That was easy. Then in the year 1938, a company started producing noodles and started selling groceries. Today, they are an electronic giant. Samsung, the right answer. From making noodles to selling mobile phones, it's been a long journey for Samsung. According to the American Dialect Society, this was the phrase of the year 2012, or the word of the year, hashtag. Hashtag is the word that I was looking for. Process, bureaucracy and jams was a phrase coined or followed for reigniting life into Yahoo. Marissa Mayer, the person who coined that. Then came the company which decided on its name because tiny buttons on its devices looked like a collection of seeds, and they were only producing black versions of it. Hence came the name BlackBerry. Simple. Science and engineering of making intelligent machines is artificial intelligence. M in VoIP stands for Mobile Voice over Internet Protocol. The series which covers a lot of IT and technology in companies is the Dilbert series. That was easy to cover. Google 2012 study said the most searched movie in India was Ek Tha Tiger. Hyderabad was huge on that. Sam Petroda has created a huge network for basically democratizing information and student access to free study material. It's the National Knowledge Network. I'm very impressed that a reasonable amount of teams here got that correct. Very good, Hyderabad. These are answers which make someone like me feel good about a city like this. Because if you're following such things, you're on the right track. It's not a typical IT question. It's to know how you know the IT environment. Fantastic. Then came the question which was well worded according to me, along with the visual that came on your screen. You really had to put your head in to figure that one out. One of the first receivers to use a cathode ray tube. Now you had to walk around that a little bit. The clue was in describing the device, which was nothing but a simple television. The answer, therefore, was JL Bad. Very simple. You had to really walk around it in a very logical manner, and you would have arrived at JL Bad. Disruptive innovation, well worked out, Clayton Christensen. The word for trying to acquire usernames and passwords of others is fishing with a P. Then came present yourself or present something that you created on the internet is slide share. Well answered. And finally, the last two questions, the description by Wikipedia of farm will, and the last one, Som Mittal, a man of great reputation in the IT field in India. All right, 12:34 says the auditorium clock, so we've gained about 10 minutes of time here today. Guys, please, Hyderabad, I definitely require silence. Please, it is difficult with 1,200 children and volunteers and parents to try and do a quiz. So please sympathize, and there are going to be teams here who are going to try and think and get into the national final of the quiz. So your silence for the next 45 minutes will be crucial. The final will take no more than 45 minutes. That's the time duration. So I would urge you to sit down and watch the quiz. 9 out of 10 times, you learn by watching people who get it right. Be humble enough to accept that if you do not make it to the final today, the people who are making it to the final are from your own age group. They're not from IIT or something like that, so you say, oh, he knows more IT than me. They're from the same 8th standard to 12th standard like you. But they seem to have done something better than you did this afternoon. You might catch up with them over a period of time, or you should catch up with them over a period of time. But in life, I want to share one thing with all you youngsters. We somehow have this tendency where if I'm not part of a final, why should I sit and watch a final? I've seen a lot of kids do this at a lot of competitions. The moment the results are announced, you go back to school. You will never win a competition in your life because you're not learning what winners are doing. Only when you watch people who win do you understand, oh, this is what he did right, which I never did right. Go and ask Rafael Nadal when he won the French Open, what did he do? He said, I watched tapes and tapes and tapes of a guy called Ivan Lendl, who later went on to become Andy Murray's coach. He just watched tapes of that guy as a child to simply see what he does right. So have the humility to learn from those who did it right at that point in time. On that note, 6 teams have done well for themselves here today from their respective schools and will walk up on stage as finalists. Qualifying on stage as team number 1. Put your hands together as they walk up here today. And this is what I like about Hyderabad. The contest is open from class 8 to class 12. But every year there's someone from a younger age who's always making their presence felt on stage. What it means is talent is not polarized to only 12th standard here. Talent is well distributed at Hyderabad. Team number 1 on stage from class 10. Put your hands together. Siddharth Rao, Yash Baldava, Gitanjali Senior School. That way is easier, yeah. And walking up on stage is team number 2, neighboring them here today, Anish Kalapur and Saida Asna Hashmi from Sri Chaitanya Narayanaguda as team number 2. It'll take a while to reach on stage because it's not so easy to walk across with all the people seated on the aisles. Just make a little bit of way for her, please. Team number 3 walking up on stage, Krishna Dayanidhi and Sai Sugun, TPS Hyderabad. As team number 4 walking up to our final here today, and we got a young boy from class 9 qualifying into the final here. That's amazing. Put your hands together. Shrikara Prasad, Arjun Suhas, HPS, Begumpet. Right, I think they'll find their way up here. And team number 5 walking up on stage. Class 12, Aniruddha Konala and Tushant Mittal, Fiji, Narayanaguda. DPS. And completing our lineup here today is our final team in Hyderabad, Akash and Rishi, Obal Reddy Public School.